Hello. Welcome to Reality Stories, where stories do come alive. Please subscribe and share with friends. Now relax and enjoy the story. The sun shone brightly over the luxurious garden of the White Orchid Hotel, where the wedding of Amara and Kelvin was taking place. Everything looked perfect. Flowers everywhere, guests in dazzling outfits, and the sweet sound of soft violin music dancing in the air. Amara stood in front of the mirror in the bridal suite, wearing an elegant white gown that hugged her 5-month baby bump just right. Her smile was wide, but her eyes were heavy with something no one else could see. "Are you okay, Amara?" her friend and bridesmaid Lillian asked as she adjusted the veil. Amara nodded. "Yes, just nervous. You know how weddings can be." Lillian smiled. "Of course. But don't worry. You're marrying the man of your dreams. And you're glowing. Glowing." That word hit Amara hard. If only she could erase what happened that night. If only she could be sure that this baby growing inside her truly belonged to Kelvin. The door opened and her mother peeked in. "They're ready for you. My dear, are you ready?" Amara took one last look at herself in the mirror. She looked like a dream bride. But deep down, her heart was pounding with fear. "I'm ready," she whispered, as she walked down the aisle to where Kelvin stood, smiling proudly in his navy blue tuxedo. She forced herself to smile too. Guests stood, phones out, clapping. Everything felt like a movie, but in her head, a different scene was playing. Flashback, 1 month earlier. It was a cool evening at a family party to celebrate Kelvin's promotion. Music was playing. Food was everywhere, and the drinks flowed freely. Amara was dressed in a simple dress. Not showing yet, but tired and a little tipsy. She had stepped out to the balcony for fresh air when Derek joined her. "Nice party, huh?" he said, sipping from his glass. Amara looked at him. Derek was Kelvin's cousin, taller, broader, with a bad boy aura that made people both drawn to and afraid of him. He had a reputation. Fast cars, fast women, shady deals. Kelvin always said to keep her distance from him. Still, Derek had a charm about him. "Yeah, it's nice," she replied. "You're really beautiful, you know," he said suddenly, leaning in slightly. Amara laughed nervously. "Thanks, but I'm your cousin's fiancé." Derek shrugged. "I didn't say I was going to steal you, just giving a compliment." She didn't realize how much she had drunk until she stood up and stumbled slightly. Derek caught her arm. "You okay?" "I think I need to sit." "Come. My car's parked outside. You can rest there." At the time, it seemed harmless, just a place to sit quietly. But what happened in that car changed everything. They talked, laughed, shared secrets. Then, one thing led to another. She remembered him kissing her neck, her body responding, her guilt flickering, but fading under the influence of alcohol and adrenaline. The next morning, she woke up in a hotel bed. Alone, she cried in the bathroom for hours. She felt disgusted, broken. She told herself it was a mistake she would take to the grave. A terrible moment she would never repeat. Now, standing at the altar, she looked at Kelvin, his warm eyes full of love. She almost crumbled. "I, Kelvin, take you, Amara." Her hand shook. When it was her turn, her voice cracked slightly. "I, Amara, take you." As a kiss and applause filled the garden, Amara forced back the tears that burned her throat. 2 weeks after the wedding, Kelvin received a job opportunity in Dubai. Short term, just a few months. He didn't want to go, but Amara encouraged him. "You've worked so hard for this." "I'll be fine," she said, holding his hands. I hate the thought of leaving you alone," he said. "You're not leaving me alone. Your cousin Derek's here. Your mom, too. I'll be okay." Kelvin hugged her tightly and kissed her forehead. "I'll call every night." "I know." As soon as Kelvin left, Amara's anxiety returned. She tried to distract herself with work, prenatal yoga, baby shopping, but Derek was always around, always watching her. One evening, she was in the garden behind the house when Derek showed up unannounced. "You didn't answer my messages," he said. Amara turned sharply. "You shouldn't be here. We need to talk." "There's nothing to talk about." Derek stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Don't play games with me. You know that baby is probably mine. Amara's heart thudded. Don't say that. I'm not blind. Amara, I've done the math. It was exactly 1 month before the wedding. Do you even know when you conceived? She swallowed hard. Even if that night happened, which I regret, this child is Kelvin's. Derek gave a slow, cruel smile. You want to bet on that? What do you want from me, Derek? She asked, her voice trembling. He looked at her belly, then back into her eyes. The truth. That's all. I want you to admit what we both know deep down, that the baby is mine. No, she snapped. That night was a mistake. I don't even know how it happened. I was drunk, confused. But not unconscious, Derek interrupted. You didn't stop me. Amara blinked back tears. I didn't say yes either. And that's what haunts me. I never wanted that. Derek's smile faded. Listen, I'm not here to argue consent. I'm here to tell you that secrets don't stay buried forever. Amara turned to walk away, but he grabbed her arm. Let go of me. I will when you stop pretending this didn't happen. She shook him off. You think you can blackmail me? You think I'm scared of you? You should be, he said quietly, because if I tell Kelvin the truth, your perfect little world will fall apart. The loving husband, the happy home, gone. Amara looked at him, disgusted. You're a monster. And you're not so innocent either, Amara. We both made this mess. She stepped back. If you ever come near me again, I'll tell Kelvin myself. Derek leaned in closer. Do it. Let's see how well that ends for you. He turned and walked away, leaving Amara frozen, shaken, terrified. That night, Amara sat on the floor of the bathroom, crying silently as water ran in the sink. She touched her belly gently. Who are you? She whispered. Who's your father? Her phone rang. Kelvin. She wiped her face quickly and answered. Hey, love, his voice beamed. Hey, she said, trying to sound cheerful. You okay? I miss you. I miss you more. Can you put the phone on your belly? I want to talk to the baby. She smiled weakly and placed the phone on her bump. Kelvin's voice came through, warm and full of love. Hey, little one. Daddy's here. You're growing strong, right? I'll be back soon, okay? Amara closed her eyes. I love you, Kelvin said. I love you too, she replied. But inside, guilt swallowed her whole. The soft cries of a newborn filled the living room. Baby Jaden had just finished feeding and was now fast asleep in Amara's arms. She sat on the brown leather couch, rocking him gently while humming a lullaby. Mrs. Grace, Kelvin's mother, sat opposite her, eyes narrowed. Her wrapper was tightly tied, and she had her reading glasses perched on the edge of her nose. She muttered for the third time in 5 minutes. Amara looked up. Is something wrong, Mama? Mrs. Grace didn't answer immediately. She stared at the baby, then at Amara, then back at the baby. Tell me, Amara, she said slowly, are you sure this child belongs to my son? Amara's heart stopped. I beg your pardon? She asked, voice shaking. You heard me. Are you sure this baby is Kelvin's? Amara forced a smile. Of course, Mama. Why would you ask that? Mrs. Grace leaned forward, lowering her voice. Because this baby doesn't look anything like my son. Not even a little. His nose, his ears. He looks different. Amara swallowed hard. He's still a newborn. Features change as they grow. Mrs. Grace scoffed. That's what women like you always say when they know the child isn't their husband's. Don't try me, Amara. I wasn't born yesterday. Amara's hands tightened around the baby. Mama, please. I've done nothing wrong. Mrs. Grace's voice rose. So if I ask for a DNA test, you won't refuse? The room fell silent. The baby shifted slightly, yawning in his sleep. I don't think it's necessary, Amara stammered. Exactly, Mrs. Grace said, pointing. If you had nothing to hide, you wouldn't be afraid of the test. My son trusted you, but I've always had my doubts. Amara stood, tears welling in her eyes. Mama, please don't do this. I just gave birth. I'm tired. I don't want any stress. Mrs. Grace stood too, squaring her shoulders. Then prove you're innocent. Otherwise, I will tell Kelvin everything I suspect. And believe me, he listens to me more than you. Amara watched her walk out of the house, the sound of her slippers slapping the tile floor echoing behind her. She sank back onto the couch, her heart racing. The walls were closing in. It wasn't just Derek anymore. Now Kelvin's mother was after her too. And the truth was getting harder to bury. Derek sat in his office, a glass of whiskey in one hand, the DNA test envelope in the other. He had bribed a lab technician, managed to get strands of baby Jaden's hair from a baby cap Amara had discarded, and used one of his own items for the test. He already knew what the results would say. But still, as he opened the envelope, his breath caught. Probability of paternity, 99.9%. He smirked. Well, I always knew I made strong seeds. A few hours later, Amara got a text from an unknown number. Meet me now. Suite 409. No excuses. She stared at the message, her hands trembling. She knew who it was. Still, she went. She needed to end this once and for all. The hotel room was dimly lit cold and smelled of expensive cologne. Derek was seated at the small table, sipping his drink, the envelope open beside him. You came, he said. I don't have a choice, do I? She replied, folding her arms. He slid the paper toward her. Read it. She looked down. Her eyes scanned the bold black letters. The room began to spin. No, she whispered. No, this can't be true. It is, Derek said, his tone calm, almost proud. I'm the father of your child. Amara's legs buckled slightly, and she reached the chair. He continued, now that we both know the truth, we can stop pretending. Leave Kelvin. Come with me. Amara looked up, horrified. You want me to destroy my marriage? My life? Kelvin loves me. He loved this child. Derek leaned forward. But it's not his child. And soon he'll know. Unless what? Unless you come with me. Start a new life. I'll take care of you, of the baby. You won't need anything. I don't want your money, Derek. He chuckled. You may not want it, but you'll need it. Because when I release these, he reached into his laptop bag and pulled out a flash drive. Your career, your name, everything will be finished. Amara's eyes widened. What's that? Chats, messages, screenshots, even CCTV footage from that hotel we stayed in. You think people won't believe it? You recorded me? She said, voice breaking. I record everything, he replied smoothly. For insurance. You're a devil. No, I'm a realist. I want what's mine. The child, and the woman who carried him. Amara stood. You won't get away with this. Oh, I already have, he said, leaning back. Unless you cooperate. That night, Amara locked herself in the bathroom, ignoring her phone and the baby monitor's blinking lights. She stared at herself in the mirror, dark circles under her eyes, tears streaming silently. Her career as a lawyer could end if those videos leaked. Her firm had strict moral codes. Her community would shun her. Her mother would disown her. And Kelvin, she slid to the floor, hugging her knees. I don't know what to do anymore, she whispered to herself. I don't know who I am. 2 days later, she walked into her office, distracted, broken, and completely out of sorts. Her assistant, Linda, looked at her with concern. Ma, you're okay? I'm fine, Amar replied. Just no sleep? Linda hesitated. A man dropped this off for you. He said you'd know what it meant. Amara took the seal brown envelope from her and opened it. Inside were copies of the DNA result and a note. You have 7 days. Then the world sees what I've seen. D. She turned pale. It was no longer just a secret. It was a countdown. Kelvin had just returned from a short business trip to Abuja when he found a plain white envelope on the kitchen counter. It had no stamp, no name, just his name written in block letters. Kelvin. He picked it up slowly, feeling uneasy. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No greeting. No signature. Just one sentence typed in bold font. Check the real father of your child before you continue living a lie. Kelvin's hand tightened around the letter. His heart pounded as his mind raced. Who would send something like this? Was it a joke? A mistake? He walked to the living room where Amara sat with baby Jaden, bouncing him gently on her lap. Amara, he said slowly. She looked up and smiled. Welcome back, babe. How was the trip? He ignored the question and held out the letter. Did you see this? Her smile faded. She took the paper, read it, and froze. Who sent this? He asked, his tone sharper now. Amara shook her head quickly. I don't know. I haven't seen this before. Are you hiding something from me? He asked, stepping closer. No. Kelvin, you know me. Why would someone send this? That's what I'm trying to find out, he said, staring at her. Unless you have something to tell me. Her eyes darted to baby and then back to Kelvin. I have nothing to hide. He nodded slowly. All right then. But something in his eyes changed. The warmth, the trust, it was fading. That night, when Amara was asleep, Kelvin sat in the guest room with his laptop. His head spun with thoughts. He called his old university friend, Teo, a cybersecurity expert. Guy, I need your help. Something's off. I need to find out the truth about something personal. I think my wife is hiding something. Teo responded immediately. Say no more. I'll help you. By the next evening, tiny cameras were installed in 3 places. The living room, the baby's room, and near the back door. Nothing illegal, just surveillance for answers. Kelvin also began checking her phone when she was in the shower, scanning through her chats. She had recently deleted most of her WhatsApp history. That raised more questions. One night, while reviewing footage from earlier in the day, he saw something that made his blood run cold. Derek, in his living room, holding his child, and Amara didn't stop him. They spoke quietly. Kelvin couldn't hear the words, but the body language, it was too familiar, too relaxed, too wrong. Kelvin paused the footage, leaned back, and closed his eyes. God, he whispered, what are they hiding from me? Amara could feel the difference. Kelvin still came home every night. He still ate dinner, still held the baby, but he no longer kissed her goodbye in the morning, no longer looked at her with warmth. Everything felt like a routine now. One evening, as they sat in silence eating rice and stew, Amara cleared her throat. Kelvin, she said softly. He didn't look up. Is everything okay between us? He put down his spoon and finally met her eyes. You tell me. She blinked. What do you mean? You've been acting strange. Hiding your phone. Jumping when it rings. And now, this letter comes out of nowhere. Amara, be honest with me. Is there something I should know? Her voice cracked. I love you, Kelvin. I really do. I've made mistakes, but What kind of mistakes? He cut in sharply. She swallowed hard. I've been stressed. The baby, the pressure. I haven't been myself. He leaned back. You're right. You haven't. The room was silent again. The next day, Derek showed up at her office. She tried to walk past him, but he blocked her path. Amara, you look tired. What do you want? She snapped. To help, he replied smoothly. To make things easier. You can't keep lying to Kelvin forever. I'm not going to destroy my home. Too late for that, Derek said, pulling out a velvet box from his pocket. She froze. What's that? He opened it. A ring. A gold one. Marry me? Amara stared at him like he'd gone mad. I'm serious, Derek said. Start over with me. I've got money, connections. I can raise Jaden like a king. You can finally stop pretending. She stepped back. You're crazy. He smiled. No, I'm just the only one willing to love you without judgment. Amara turned and stormed away. But that night, she couldn't sleep. Kelvin barely spoke a word to her. Derek's words echoed in her head. She stood by Jaden's crib, watching him sleep peacefully. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I don't know what to do, she whispered. I love your father, but he may not be your father. And the man who is the same one who's trying to destroy me. She wiped her face and turned to go to bed. But as she entered the room, Kelvin stirred. You're still up, he asked. I was checking on Jaden. He nodded. Good. She hesitated, then said, Do you still love me, Kelvin? He didn't answer right away. Finally, he said, Love isn't always enough, Amara. Sometimes the truth is more important. He turned his back to her and switched off the light. Amara stood in the dark, her heart breaking all over again. Kelvin stood in the corner of his bedroom, arms crossed, a laptop open on the bed. His face was pale, jaw tight, and eyes red. He had just finished watching the video Teo had recovered. Hidden CCTV footage of Derek and Amara entering a hotel room together weeks before the wedding. Amara had lied. The anonymous letter. The deleted messages. The strange closeness between Derek and his child. Everything now made sense. He stood there, frozen for a moment. Then quietly, he shut the laptop and walked to the closet. He pulled out a duffel bag and began to pack. Amara walked in, holding a laundry basket. You're packing? She asked, alarmed. Kelvin didn't answer. Kelvin? She stepped forward. What's going on? He finally looked at her, his voice cold and flat. I know everything. She dropped the basket. What do you mean? I saw the video. You and Derek. At the hotel. Before the wedding. Amara's face turned white. Kelvin, please. I can explain. There's nothing to explain, he shouted, throwing a shirt into his bag. You cheated on me with my own cousin. Tears rushed her eyes. It wasn't what you think. Then what was it, Amara? A mistake? A moment of weakness before your wedding day? Or did you just plan to make me raise Derek's child like a fool? I didn't plan it, she cried. I was drunk. He took advantage of me. You kept it from me. You married me and let me name a child who isn't mine. Amara fell to her knees. Kelvin, please don't leave. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to tell you. I was scared of losing you. He zipped his bag and stared down at her. You already lost me. She reached for his leg, sobbing, Don't do this. Please, think of the baby. I am thinking of the baby, and he deserves better than lies and secrets. Kelvin walked out. The door slammed behind him. Weeks later, the news of the scandal spread like wildfire. Amara could barely walk down the street without whispers. That's the lawyer who gave her husband another man's child. I heard the cousin drugged her, but she stayed quiet to protect her image. Shameless woman. At her firm, her boss called her in. Amara, he said gently, we're placing you on suspension. This situation is hurting the firm's reputation. But my work... You've been excellent, but clients are asking questions. We need to protect the brand. She walked out with her head low. By the time she got home, her mother had called 3 times begging her to come back to the village. Even the house help had quit. That night, Derek showed up. He was dressed casually, holding a small box. What do you want? Amara asked wearily, not even letting him inside. I heard you lost your job. I thought you might need help. I don't need anything from you. I bought a house. Quiet, private. You and the baby can live there. No one will judge you. She shook her head. You think you can buy me? After everything you caused. I gave you a child. Your husband left you. Why keep suffering when I can make your life easier? You didn't give me anything, she spat. You stole a moment from me, manipulated me, and now you want to play hero. He smirked. You'll come around, sooner or later. Amara's voice was firm. No, I may be down, but I'm not yours. Not ever. She shut the door in his face. And this time, she didn't cry. Kelvin sat across from Teo in a small cafe, stirring his tea absent-mindedly. I still don't get it, he said quietly. Amara's not a liar. Something about all this feels off. Teo leaned forward. I was digging deeper. I traced Derek's messages. Searched through deleted app data. Bro, I think there's more. Kelvin frowned. What did you find? Teo pushed a file toward him. Audio from the night they were together. Hotel staff recordings. Apparently, Derek ordered a bottle of red wine and something else that was flagged as a relaxant, a sedative. Kelvin's hand shook slightly. He drugged her. There's more. A deleted voice memo from Amara's phone. Listen. Kelvin put on headphones. I woke up confused. I don't remember everything. But Derek said nothing happened. I shouldn't have trusted him. I feel like I've done something wrong, but I can't remember how it started. Kelvin's mouth fell open. She wasn't cheating, he whispered. She was taking advantage of... Teo nodded. It was manipulation. He got her drunk, possibly drugged her, then took advantage. And she stayed quiet, probably out of fear, shame, or guilt. Kelvin stood. I need to see him. The confrontation. Kelvin found Derek at his office. He barged in, ignoring the secretary's protests. Derek looked up, smirking. Kelvin, brother, finally come to your senses. Kelvin walked straight to him and grabbed his collar. You raped my wife. Derek laughed. Don't be dramatic. You drugged her, lied to her, made her think she made a mistake. You destroyed my marriage. I gave you a child. Kelvin punched him hard across the face. Derek fell backward, holding his jaw. Are you mad? You touched her without her full consent. That's assault. You can't prove it. I have everything. Messages, receipts, even audio. You'll go to jail. But just then, their uncle, Chief Benson, walked in. What's going on here? Kelvin turned, panting with rage. Uncle, we need a family meeting. Now! The family meeting. 3 days later, in their family compound, the elders gathered. The air was heavy with tension. Amar was there, silent. Kelvin stood tall. Derek, bruised and calm, sat smugly. Chief Benson raised a hand. Let us settle this the traditional way. No police, no courts. We are family. Kelvin's voice rang out. Family doesn't betray family. Speak your part, the elder said. Kelvin shared everything. The letter, the cameras, the video, the drugs, the manipulation. He played the audio for everyone. The room fell into silence. Even Derek's mother wept in shame. One elder turned to Derek. Is this true? Derek didn't answer. Another elder spoke. What you did is unforgivable. But it is our tradition to fix what is broken, not throw it away. Kelvin stood. I came here not for peace. I came for truth. But I also came for Amara. Gasps filled the air. She made a mistake, yes, but it wasn't betrayal. It was pain. It was fear. And I still love her. Amara covered her mouth in shock. Derek stood to object. You can't take her back. She's carrying my child. She is my wife, Kelvin said firmly, and she will always be. The rain poured heavily the night Amara went into labor. She screamed in pain as the contractions came faster. Her neighbor, Mrs. Ebel, helped her into the car and rushed her to the hospital. By the time they arrived, Amara was almost fully dilated. The nurses worked quickly, and after nearly 5 hours of labor, a cry filled the room. It's a boy, the nurse said, smiling. Amara, drenched in sweat and tears, reached for her baby. He was beautiful, soft brown skin, dark curls, and round cheeks. Her heart swelled with love and heartbreak all at once. She whispered, Jaden, but peace didn't last long. 2 days later, Derek showed up at the hospital with a lawyer. He didn't even ask how she was doing. He simply said, I want custody of my son. Amara looked at him, holding the baby close. You will never take him from me. Derek's voice was cold. You're unstable. The whole town knows what you did. You've been suspended from work, disgraced in the community. I'm his biological father. The law will support me. Amara stared at him, fury rising in her chest. Then I'll see you in court. The legal battle begins. A week later, the courtroom was full. The case drew massive attention. Journalists, neighbors, even strangers filled the seats. People whispered as Amara walked in with her lawyer and baby. Derek sat across from her, smug, dressed in an expensive suit. He had hired the best legal team in town. He claimed full custody on grounds that Amara had created a scandalous environment and had mental instability due to her suspension and emotional breakdown. Amara's lawyer, a young female barrister named Linda, stood tall. We will prove that Derek Thompson is not a fit father. He not only seduced and drugged Amara Thomas, but also manipulated her into silence, and then attempted to use that silence to control her. The judge leaned forward. "Do you have proof?" "Yes, your lordship." She presented the CCTV footage, the hotel drug records, and the audio memo from Amara's deleted phone. The entire courtroom was silent as the judge listened. Gasps echoed in the room when they heard Amara's broken voice. "I feel like something happened that night, something I didn't choose. But who will believe me?" The judge looked at Derek sharply. "Mr. Thompson, do you deny these events?" Derek swallowed hard but said nothing. The community turns. Outside the courtroom, a crowd had gathered with banners. "Justice for Amara. Say no to coercion. Protect mothers, not monsters." Amara stood with baby Jaden in her arms, visibly emotional. The press approached her. "How do you feel, ma'am?" She looked into the camera. "No woman should be shamed for surviving pain. No child should be used as a weapon. I will fight for my son, no matter who stands against me." That night, the story trended on social media. Thousands rallied behind her. Inside his hotel room, Derek watched the news, his name dragged through the mud. He punched the wall in anger. Kelvin returns to the hospital. The next morning, Kelvin walked into the hospital nursery where Jaden lay. He hadn't seen the baby since birth. Now, looking through the glass, something inside him shifted. Jaden looked peaceful, innocent. His tiny hands clenched, chest rising and falling with each breath. He remembered his own childhood, how his father had left, how he had promised himself he'd be different. Amara saw him from the hallway and approached quietly. "I didn't expect you," she said softly. Kelvin turned, eyes misty. "He looks like you." She smiled faintly. "Yes." He hesitated. "I read everything. Teo showed me. I didn't know how deep it all went. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to hate me. I don't hate you, Amara. I hate what happened to you." A moment passed. Then he asked, "Is he okay? Healthy?" "Yes. He's perfect." Kelvin looked down. "I don't know if I can be his father, but I don't want him to grow up thinking I abandoned him." Amara's eyes filled with tears. "I never expected you to forgive me," she whispered. "But thank you for being here." The court ruled in Amara's favor. Full custody. Derek was denied visitation rights until further psychological evaluation and pending a criminal investigation. Amara's firm reinstated her after public pressure. She even began offering free legal help to women in abusive or manipulative relationships. But the scars remained. The speech. Amara was invited to speak at a women's empowerment event hosted by a popular media house. She stood on the stage in a blue dress, holding a mic with steady hands. The hall was full, young women, mothers, even fathers. Kelvin sat quietly in the back row, holding baby Jaden in his arms. Amara took a breath and spoke. "A year ago, I had everything, love, success, and a dream of a perfect family. Then I made a mistake, and life fell apart. I became the woman everyone whispered about, the woman who disgraced her husband. But no one knew I was carrying more than just a child. I was carrying pain, fear, and shame. Today, I stand not as a victim, but as a survivor. This child, my son, is not a symbol of scandal. He is a symbol of strength. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's freedom. And I've chosen forgive. Derek, yes, even Kelvin and myself. I am still worthy. I am still strong. And I will raise my child with dignity. To every woman watching, your worth is not tied to your past. You can still rise." The room erupted in applause. Some cried, some stood and clapped. And in the back, Kelvin did both. After the event, outside, Amara stood alone, watching the sunset. Kelvin walked over, holding Jaden. He was calm the whole time, he said with a soft smile. She looked at them, heart full. "You're good with him." Kelvin stared at her. "I've thought about everything. The lies, the pain, the silence, but also the strength it took for you to survive. I never wanted to hurt you," she whispered. "I know." Silence. Then Kelvin spoke, voice trembling. "I don't know what the future holds, but I know one thing. I never stopped loving you. Tears ran down her cheeks. I love you too, she whispered. They stood together, baby Jaden asleep between them. Then Amara turned slightly, looking at the sky. Whether they would try again or not, she didn't know, but she had reclaimed herself. And that, more than anything, was her true victory.